So here we are, finally, on this beautiful April day, August, October day to be married on. I'm sorry, but you guys have been a little hard to keep track of recently. I mean, I got like 5 invitations to this thing and I didn't even show up. It just got too much to keep in line. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jack, Pat's younger but significantly larger brother, and today I'm operating remotely as best man. I know you all saw Josh up there standing in my spot today, but sorry JB, it's not that easy to get rid of. In all seriousness, I am very disappointed I couldn't be there with you all today. Y'all, for those of you who needed that translated. But the show must go on. I never thought I'd be giving this speech in this way, and I don't mean in the middle of the worldwide pandemic or even over WebEx, but I never thought I'd be this bald. And I never thought I'd have to do it only dressed from the waist up. About 2 hours ago, I discovered I don't even have a suit that fits me, so that really worked out. I can remember the first time Pat really told me how he felt about Kristen. He was home visiting, and me, him, and Matt were at Kohl's. And I can remember very clearly Pat looking up from the shirt rack with this stupid grin on his face. And he just kept repeating, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm gaga. I'm gaga over this girl, man. And we were all kind of like, okay, what does that mean, Pat? I don't know. I'm gaga over her. Gaga. So naturally, we made fun of him because who besides middle school girls uses gaga to talk about another person? As it turns out, gaga is apparently the level of love you must feel for someone in order to one day marry them. Now we know. And Pat felt this way even despite Ailey being stood up by Kristen on their first date. And I don't mean to rehash the past, guys, but I just recently found out that Kristen was apparently like 30 minutes late to the first date. And I'm sure she had a good excuse, car trouble. I had to find my wallet. But, I've got my own theory. I think Kristen spent time stalking Pat's social media before the first date. And, I wanted to be able to show what Pat used to look like in the year leading up to Kristen. But you just got to picture this hair that went about 4 feet high and nothing on the sides. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was way more than enough to scare anybody off, let alone make them 30 minutes late to a first date. But luckily, Kristen wasn't scared off. I guess Josh and Bonnie assured her that that haircut was left in the past long ago. And I knew Pat and Kristen must have been getting serious because, well, that summer I went to go visit Pat. And you see, every time I went down to Texas, I had a very important responsibility. I would have to shave Pat's back for him. It was my job. I took pride in it. I was damn good at it. But this time, I go down to Texas to find Pat sporting a beautiful, pristine, baby smooth, freshly shaven back. And there was kind of this moment of like, what the hell, man? I was looking forward to that. But I guess things had gotten so serious between Pat and Kristen that she had taken over as designated back shaver. Looking back, I guess things could have gotten more serious between Pat and Josh or Pat and Frankie, but regardless, some relationship advanced to the point that it booted me out of my... Now, Kristen, if I'm correct, the first time we met in person, and not over FaceTime, was Thanksgiving that year. And I remember I spent the whole day just waiting for one of my cousins to crack open the first beer. So I, the young 19-year-old, would slyly toss 1 or 5 back. And then Pat comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, go have a beer with Kristen. She doesn't want to be the first one to open one." I was like, "Oh yeah, no said. Pat's girlfriend is cool." Which was great, you know, because I've always wanted a really cool sister. You know, like Emma could be a little boring. She's a bit of a nerd, but this was great. But Kristen, in all seriousness, I mean, I can't remember a time where there was any kind of awkward introductory period with you. You laughed with us, you joked with us, you handled my dad's sarcasm like a champ, which is impressive for anybody. And it didn't take us long to find out why Pat was just so gaga over you. And I want to remind you of one of my favorite lines of yours. It was the day you two got engaged. And we had just gone whale watching in Alaska. And Kristen has this huge smile on her face and she says, "I saw whales today. And I got engaged." And honestly, I'm still not sure which one she was more excited about. Kudos for Pat for knowing what would be her perfect day. Now, I want to end with a brief story. And if this starts to get too serious for some of you guys, I urge you to just watch my little sister Emma, who's about to get ridiculously red because I'll be mentioning her. And honestly, it's just kind of funny to watch. So, years ago, just around the time Pat moved out to Texas, my mom had me and Emma occasionally see a family counselor, which was great. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Mom. And I remember the guy asked us one day how we felt with everything going on and everything Pat was going through. And Emma, who was very young at the time, says she was scared. So the doc says, "Well, scared of what?" And Emma looks up and she goes, "What if Pat never has a normal life? What if he never gets married?" Well, here we are, all those years later. Pat, you've surpassed a normal life. You came down to Texas, made incredible friends, landed a great job, and today you married an extraordinary woman who I am so excited to call my fun sister. So, yes, I did buy champagne for the occasion. Here's to you two. Here's to being gaga. Cheers to Pat and Kristen. And that's all I got.